Will we get to see it? That is the question. So in this episode, we are on a quest to see the summit of Mount Denali. You know, from what I understand, we stand less than a 30% chance of actually getting to see the top of Mount Denali. But that is our hope this week, and come along. Let's go see if we can find it. But regardless, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get to see just another beautiful glimpse of God's creation. So let's get going. So here's the plan for the week. This week is all about Mount Denali, for the most part. So to get to Mount Denali, we decided to take a little bit of the longer, more scenic route from Fairbanks. And our adventure actually begins on the Denali Highway, which is a incredibly beautiful drive. We actually are going to take about 2 days to do the drive over to Denali from Fairbanks, really just taking in the sights of the Denali Highway. And then we're going to be in the national park for a few days. We're staying at a couple different campgrounds. From there, we're actually going to go to Denali State Park to get another angle of Mount Denali. So we are hopeful that between all of that we will get a glimpse of the mountain. But again, I'm pretty sure that regardless, this is going to be a fun adventure and filled with lots of beauty. Before we get going on our quest, it might be helpful to share just a few facts about what makes Mount Denali so unique and special. Mount Denali is 20,310 feet tall, making it the tallest mountain in all of North America. In fact, though, what's crazy about Mount Denali is it's actually the tallest mountain on land. In other words, from where the mountain starts on the land to its summit. It's actually 18,000 feet, which is the tallest and actually makes Mount Everest look tiny, which is only about 12,000 feet above land. The mountain is so big, you can actually see it from over 200 miles away. But it's also so big that it basically creates its own weather system. And in the summer, it's famous for basically being shrouded in clouds. So like I said, there's about a 30% chance that we'll even get to see it. But we remain hopeful. The Denali Highway is 135 miles of just spectacular views of the Alaska mountain range, connecting the small towns of Paxton on the east with Cantwell on the west. Up until the early 1970s, this highway was actually the only way you could access the Denali National Park. You could easily do this drive in a half day to a day, but we decided to take 2 days and take our time.
I wanna wander out of the valley where the river takes us far away from home. Time to ponder in the fields around me, where there's nothing but the breeze and the great unknown. Leave your worries and your suitcase.
We stopped for the night roadside by a beautiful lake, and we felt we had the entire road to ourselves.
So don't throw your hopes, start on wishing well. It's your heart's desire, carry you.
You know, I feel like every highway in Alaska is a scenic byway, but this one is definitely scenic and just might be our most favorite so far. I would highly recommend you drive this highway if you ever find yourself in Alaska. Well, we're just about to the end of the Denali Highway, getting pretty close to the Denali National Park. And we are now at our first possible viewpoint of Mount Denali. And guess what? We should be able to see it somewhere right around there. And of course we can't. But to be honest, I think that was expected. For our first night in the national park, we were based at the Riley Creek Campground, which is right near the entrance and the main visitor center. It was a great location to be based and get a lay of the land of the park. The next morning, one of the fun things we did is we headed over to the dog kennels for a demonstration of the sled dogs. Having working dogs in the national park is an incredible tradition that goes back over 100 years. It was a fun experience to learn a bit about the dogs and the history of the kennel, and even get to interact and pet some of the dogs. What a cool experience. Well, we are on day 2 of our quest, and behind me is technically Mount Denali, but of course it is shrouded in clouds. So the quest continues. Yep, it should be right back there, behind those clouds. For the next couple nights at the national park, we were based at the Teklanika campground. Something unique about the Denali National Park is that there is only one road that goes into the park. The road is 92 miles long, but after around mile 15, no private vehicle access is permitted, and the only way to get further into the park is via bus. This is unless you have a reservation at the Teklanika campground, which we did. So we were able to drive another 15 miles or so into the park on the park road, which was a pretty unique experience. Teklanika was a great place to be based for a couple days. The campground was set right on the Teklanika River, and we had a great time exploring the area on foot. I know we're having a bit of fun with this quest to see the top of Mount Denali, and we do remain hopeful that we will see it, but to be honest, we probably won't. But here's the thing, being here in this national park is just a reminder for us just how much we appreciate the national park system and just being in the national parks. We've heard it said before that one of America's best ideas is the national parks. And we've also heard it say that whereas Europe has its cathedrals, America has its national parks. We just love the experience of being in national parks. You know, sometimes the ranger-led walks and talks and stuff may not be for everyone, but we've actually really come to appreciate them. It adds a layer of a texture to our experience. We always learn something. And so this is just a great reminder. We may not see the top of Mount Denali, but just being in this national park is beautiful. And we are just grateful that this land has been set aside. There's a beauty, there's a story behind every park. There's a reason why it's been set aside at a national level. And we just really love experiencing it. So we will continue the quest to see the top of Mount Denali, but even if we don't, we're just grateful to be here. On our way out of the park, we stopped to do the Savage Alpine Trail hike, which was definitely one of my favorite highlights of our time in the park. The trail takes you high up with spectacular views of the Alaska Range and, weather permitting, stunning views of Mount Denali. As we hiked up, we got increasingly excited as we started to get glimpses of the big one. Unfortunately, though, we still weren't able to see the summit. Well, I've got another update on our quest to see the top of Mount Denali. We just checked into our campground that we're going to be staying at for the next couple nights. Actually, this one is in the Denali State Park, so we just finished up our time in the national park, and now we are in the state park, which is a little bit south. And from our campsite, we actually should have views through these trees of Mount Denali. But guess what? Yeah, it is completely shrouded in clouds. In fact, the entire sky is covered in clouds right now. It actually just stopped raining. So we will be here the next couple days, so we will see if we get some better luck. I'm about to set off up on the Curry Ridge Trail, which is a hike just above our campground. It's about a 6-mile hike. It gets pretty high up on a ridge with beautiful views looking out towards Denali and the Ruth Glacier. It's a little cloudy right now, and I'm guessing it's going to stay cloudy, but gonna go up the ridge here a bit and see what I can see. Well, Mount Denali is right there, but of course, nowhere to be seen. That is the Ruth Glacier right around there, so it's actually a pretty cool glacier. Stay tuned in next week and you'll hear a lot more about that glacier. Well, I made it to the top of Curry Ridge and what may be my last chance to see Denali this week. And unfortunately, no go. Well, our quest to see the top of Mount Denali has come to an end, and unfortunately without much success. We did get that little glimpse yesterday as we were doing the Savage Alpine Trail, but we never actually got to see the top. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit disappointed, but you know, that's just how life goes sometimes. And I think with a lot of things, we're learning to just roll with it and to take what is given to us. And what was given to us this week was just a ton of beauty. That drive on the Denali Highway was spectacular. Denali National Park, even without seeing the top of Mount Denali, was just incredibly beautiful. Just the landscape. This park here that we're finishing things up at, the Denali State Park, has also got its own beauty. I just finished the Curry Ridge Trail hike, and it was beautiful getting up the top and just having views over the valley and out to the Ruth Glacier. So I am grateful. And what I'm really thankful for is just that we have a God who has just crafted such a beautiful creation. Every corner that we've turned, we seem to find something new that surprises us. Alaska just continues to amaze us with her beauty. And so we're grateful. I'm thankful for all of you that just continue to watch these videos and to support and encourage us as we travel. Stay tuned in next week though. We do have another fun adventure and we're not giving up. We have one more chance to see Denali. That's it for now. We'll see you on the road next time, and may God bless you. Tilly, where are you going?
No.